Welcome to the show, everybody. Out on the flanks, we've got Jules, and through the middle, running the game, Leanne Sanderson. Great to be in your company, Julien Laurens as well. Guys, we know now that there are two teams relegated from the Premier League. Southampton, Leicester confirmed last weekend as well. We also know two teams that are coming up to the big time. Leeds at the second time of asking, actually, and then Burnley at the first time of asking. So their promotion confirmed. What do we think about those two teams coming up?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 games to go in the Championship. I think it's good those teams are coming up. I think last 2 seasons we've seen the same teams go up, go back down. It's difficult because I think people automatically look at the managers and the coaching, but I think the recruitment when teams, there are some players that are Championship players, and it's a different ball game in the Premier League. And what I want to see from Burnley and Leeds at this point is that they recruit players that are Premier League, type of players, can play in the Premier League, because it's like, Ipswich Town, I think, have made a good run of it this year. Kieran McKenna, I really like him, but you can see the massive gap between Ipswich and West Ham, and I think the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is getting better, not getting closer, it's getting further away. But I like what Scott Parker's done at Burnley. I think he's done an incredible job, and I liked him as a player, and I like him as a manager.
Yeah, Jules, I think you feel that Burnley and Leeds, one of them is a bit more equipped in terms of that recruitment, in terms of that squad that Leanne was
I think on paper, the current Leeds squad is probably more Premier League ready, because a lot of them have got a kind of experience in the Premier League already, pretty much in every position, in every line, certainly, more than Burnley side. That Leanne is right, did a great job defensively, especially. They are probably the greatest defence we've ever seen in all of the big leagues in Europe, really. 15 goals so far in 44 league games. Is just incredible ratio. Yeah. So I feel maybe Leeds is the best equipped to stay up, but like Leanne said, it's a lot down to who will be your manager, who on bench, and both Parker and Farke have terrible, really, record in the Premier League in terms of games played and games lost or won, and then who they're going to buy and who can actually bring something enough to this team to stay up.
Yeah, well, that's the Premier League for next season. Let's turn attention back to this season, and we're going to start our preview with Liverpool, because a point against Spurs at Anfield on Sunday will secure their second Premier League title. This week, we sat down with their manager, Arne.
I'm going to ask you a final question, which is about the biggest trophy in England. What would it mean to guide them back to the very top of English football?
I think this is where all of the managers are aiming for. So it's... You want to improve the team, you want to improve the individuals, but end result of that should always be winning trophies. And the biggest trophy is the Premier League, and I'm fortunate enough to work at a club where it's a possibility to win it.
It was a very special moment when Liverpool won the league 3, 4 or 5 years ago. The last time they've won it. Unfortunately for every Liverpool fan, it was COVID time, but still, they were very happy. So yeah, it must be very, very special for them, because I think it's special for every fan base, but it's even more special for the ones that don't win it every single season. So I think if you are working at a club that has won it for 4 seasons in a row, or 3 or 2 or 5 or 100, it's not as special as it is for a club that has won it in the last 35 years only once. That, of course, makes it more special. There were special moments.
Trent Alexander-Arnold!
Trent doing this 10 minutes before the end against Leicester.
It had to be him, really, didn't it? Today of all days!
Special when Virgil, just before the end, had it a goal in against West Ham.
Their captain delivers just when they needed it most.
I think big players always show up in big moments, and that's what they did. When Virgil scored the goal, the emotions that ran through him, through the stadium, through the staff, through everyone. That was a beautiful moment, but I hope the most beautiful one is still to come. It's special to reach 20, it's always special to reach 10, 20, 30. We are only judging ourselves on the standards of Liverpool and not by the standards of any other club. If we are able to win it, then this for me has nothing to do with the amount of times United won the league, or City won the league, or Arsenal won the league. We are only judging ourselves by our own standards, and for us, because we've only won it once in the past 45 years, it would be really special. I won one league title at my former club Feyenoord, which was also a club where it's not common that they win the league. It's the biggest competition in the world. if we achieve that, that would of course be special for me, for the fans, for the players, but definitely also for me. Yeah.
I remember in the intro there, the first question was me. I remember meeting him and thinking, oh, Guy, what a job you have on your hands replacing Jurgen Klopp. It's going to be difficult. There'll be a period of adjustment. I certainly couldn't have predicted that he would be on the cusp of a Premier League title in his first season. Do you think many people would have? And just how big is this?
I don't know. I mean, we saw all the predictions from the start, before the start of the season, including ours, where they were not winning the title. So, no, but it's true. I remember seeing them in pre-season when they were in the US and being really impressed with what I saw already. And I think they've been outstanding, by far the best team in the country. Mo Salah has been by far the best player too, walking on water. Van Dijk, that Slot mentioned, Gravenberch, McAllister in midfield, all of that. It's an outstanding team, really. Maybe not so much in the last few weeks, but overall. But I think maybe the best thing for him is that there was no recruitment in the summer, apart from Chiesa, who didn't play much of a role. But I think it was much easier for Slot to arrive with an already established squad that had been together for a while, with leaders that were very, very obvious to see in every line, pretty much. And Slot arriving, tweaking a few things, but also knowing that this was a healthy, very talented squad that he just had to manage well to go and win this title. So, of course, they didn't expect City not to be great, and United and Spurs and even Arsenal to some extent. But he just looked at that team thinking, you know what, I know we can go really well this season.
Yeah, Jules, you make a really good point there, because I think, I think people sometimes think managing is an easy job because you inherit a top side. And I think that's fair play to Jurgen Klopp, the recruitment of the players that he left behind. But I think people are discrediting Liverpool a little bit because they expected Arsenal to be challenging, they expected Manchester City to be challenging a little bit more. And obviously when Liverpool won the league previously, it was during the season where fans couldn't be in attendance, and everyone kept saying, oh, it's because people wasn't there. No, give Liverpool the credit. As much as it pains me from a Manchester United perspective to say that, you've got to give credit where it's due. Mo Salah is on a different level. I know in recent weeks people were saying, oh, it's because he's thinking about his contract. Now he's been given that contract. Virgil van Dijk, the contract as well. Trent, still up in the air. I think it's inevitable what will happen there. But I think you just got to give credit to Arne Slot and Liverpool because they've done an amazing job.
Yeah, the one who hasn't obviously wrapped up the contract and extension was Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I think we were all trying to read into his celebrations. We saw them there in that VT, the hanging of the shirts over the corner flag, touching the badge afterwards. A big goal, an important victory for them. But, what do we think about... It's impressive to me that, again, we've said it throughout, that they've done it in a season where 3 of their key players have not really been certain, and now 2 of those have been wrapped up.
No, I think you need to give credit to Arne Slot for never really letting this kind of contractual situation disturbing the team. You don't need to read anything in this. He's going at the end of the season. We all know that. I think this celebration is maybe the frustration of some of the criticism that he received in the last few weeks, including from his own fans. This is his club. Let's not forget. This is his hometown. And I think he wants another chapter in his career. He's allowed to have that. But this goal meant a lot because it's almost the goal of the title, really. And I think he can have that forever and that celebration too. But they will have to replace him one way or another with Bradley, with a new signing. And it's a massive loss for them, on the ball especially.
Do you know what I'm most excited for is the Liverpool fans? Because, as you mentioned, in that COVID season, they weren't able to be there. That's the first time they've won the Premier League title in the Premier League era. So they've been waiting so long.
30 years.
And now there is that opportunity, and they could do it at Anfield. I know there was a chance in midweek if Arsenal had lost to Palace, but there's very few Liverpool fans, I feel, who wouldn't want it done at Anfield. In their own home ground, on their own backyard, just with the celebrations that are going to come. We're all football fans, at the heart of it. And I'm actually quite excited for them to get to experience that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm excited for the Liverpool fans coming from Man United perspective, but I get where you're coming from, and everybody deserves, when the team wins the league, it's an amazing honour to be able to do that. And the fans, I think it's inevitable that Liverpool are obviously going to win. I think we've known that for a number of weeks now. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I think it does have a little bit more to it when you are in the stadium, when you win with your home fans, because if you're away, you're still winning the title. But we've seen it happen before where they're doing I know the trophy presentation won't come at the weekend, but we've seen teams win it and having to get the trophy at an away ground. You've got the away fans there, but it's not the same, is it? So, like I said, credit where it's due to Liverpool. They've been the best team in the league and they've been consistent and, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Just your thoughts on the fans and what we're going to see.
I mean, this is why we are football fans, right? Is to say, I was there in Istanbul, I was there at Tottenham when Arsenal won the league that season, all of that. And I think they could not say we were there when Klopp and this wonderful team that he created at the time won the league after 30 years of waiting and chasing it. So this time, the people within the stadium will be able to say to their children, to their grandchildren, I was there that day when Arne Slot won the title.
Yeah, and then we're just looking at their season overall. They've already matched the win tally from last season, and 82 points last season that they had. They could equal that, with 4 games to go. Just where are they? We know that they've kind of dropped off a little bit. That's also understandable.
It happened.
The title's been kind of secured a while ago. We've known, a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, but I think a lot of their individual players have been exceptional. I mean, Mo Salah, every single season. I know there was a moment where people were talking about him having a bit of a blip in form, but I love Mo Salah. When we talk about being football fans and what he does, I mean, he's just on a different level. And I think what I like about him is he always comes alive. He doesn't always look busy, and I think the best players do that. You have major moments in games and the types of goals he can score. And to be fair, they create a lot of chances at Liverpool. They've got fantastic delivery, with Andy Robertson. I don't think it's been Andy Robertson's best season, but he's still been, reliable at times. But Mo Salah, I mean, I could talk about him all day long. He's been for me, one of the greatest ever players in the Premier League. And I've said it on this show loads of times, give the man what he wants.
Yeah.
I know people talk about age, but he keeps himself in fantastic condition. He can still score goals for fun. And I think trying to find another player, yes, maybe longevity-wise, you might find someone, but that can guarantee you goals like he does next season. I just don't think Liverpool will find another Mo Salah for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Been breaking records nearly weekly this season. It's completely been just a marvel to watch in a season where his future has been uncertain, or he's done some things that we're not used to seeing, like giving a comment after a game, perhaps, and sending the press into a frenzy. But he's always maintained that professionalism, and he has been stunning to watch this season. And we will get to see him for 2 more years in a Liverpool shirt. Let's talk about the team that were in the running for the title with Liverpool, as we mentioned. City having the season that we know that they've had. What about Arsenal? Where do you think that kind of the title was lost for them?
I mean, there's key moments in the season where they drop points they shouldn't have dropped, to be fair. And we can see some of them now. This red card from Declan Rice against Brighton, where they're very much in control of the game at the Emirates. They 1-0 up. This is a bit cheeky, you can see it that way, but you should not do that. That's a yellow card. It's a second yellow. And there's the Trossard red card at City. There's the game they lost at home at the Emirates against West Ham. There's this defeat away at Newcastle, where for the second season in a row they lose there 1-0. And those moments, I still think that if you look at the stats, it's not a great season from an Arsenal point of view domestically. Champions League is a bit different, but it's not great. It's not too bad either. But they've lost a lot of points from winning positions.
The West Ham game you're mentioning.
Yeah, the West Ham games where Luis Kelly gets sent off. There's bad defending on the Jared Bowen goal too. And overall, it's those games where you are in the lead, and then in 9 of them, you concede goals to drop points and only get a draw from a winning position. And those 18 points, that's the difference between you and Liverpool.
Yeah. The mentality, though, isn't it? You look at the way Man City have won the title over the years, them mentality beasts. And I think we saw the same thing happen last year when Arsenal, they lost to Southampton. They drew with West Ham, at the London Stadium when Saka missed that penalty. And these things happen. I said beginning of the season, I expected Arsenal to be really challenging, if not winning it this year, based upon the last 2 seasons. Mikel Arteta was at the Emirates at the end of the season last year. The fans felt really excited. And I think even if they go on to win the Champions League, and it's a big if, because it's still a long way to go, obviously, semis, but it's a massive competition. But I think Arsenal will look back on this season and regret how the Premier League season has gone, because next year Man City will be back. Liverpool will be pushing as well. And I expected Arsenal to do far better than they have done in the Premier League.
Yeah, further away this season than they have been in the last 2 seasons.
Injuries have hurt them massively. Really, injuries, I think, to lose Odegaard, Saka and Havertz for so long, I think has hurt
and
them.
Gabriel as well, to be fair, that's a great shout.
Yeah, but they are further away. The facts will show, and there's no room for comment in the results column. So what that means is that Liverpool only need a point now against Tottenham, Arsenal's North London rivals, actually, on the weekend to be confirmed Premier League champions. We're going to hear from both managers speaking ahead of Liverpool against Spurs, starting with Arne Slot from his press conference on potentially winning the title on Sunday.
What was it like watching the Arsenal Palace game all together the other night?
Different, because normally if you watch a game of football, you're either alone or with your family or with friends. Now we watched it all together, and it was a game that had a surprise. Before the game, I was surprised that it ended in a draw. During the game, I wasn't that surprised because Palace again showed where this league is all about. Very good performance as a team, and also a few very good individual performances. So yeah, in the end, maybe not a surprising result before the game. I didn't expect it to end in a draw.
It means you just need a point now to clinch the Premier League title. So how do you feel about that opportunity to do that in front of your home fans as well?
Yeah, first of all, that's a big responsibility because we are aware of the fact that the last time this club won the league, it was COVID time. So everybody is looking forward to Sunday. But we know that there's still a job to be done, and that's at least 1 point. And that's what we know, and hopefully our fans know as well when they come to the stadium, that they support us in the best possible way they can, which they've done the whole season, and are aware of the fact that we still need a point, and that's something we are definitely aware of here inside this building. So it's a nice game to look forward to, but it's also a responsibility we have for Sunday.
With that as well, how prepared are you for the emotion of the occasion? Because as you say, it is very different to the last time the club won the Premier League title, with everyone together.
Yeah, but first a game to be played against the Tottenham side that is playing for something special as well. Maybe not in the league, but definitely in the Europa League. So they want to go towards Bodo Klimt in the best possible prepared way. So yeah, we're only focused on, like I've said so many times, on the next opponent, and that is Tottenham now. So we will try to prepare the team the same way as we've done the whole season, and hopefully the players can bring the same energy, the same mentality towards the game as they've brought throughout the whole season, and the fans, we're expecting from them the same. Thank you.
We're surrounded by history here, and I know you've mentioned that you've not thought about that yet, but there's only 11 managers who've ever won the Premier League title. You're about to become the first Dutchman ever to do it as well. Have you given yourself any opportunity yet about what that would mean to be in those echelons?
No. I get these questions, so then it comes to your mind, of course, but that's the last thing you think about as a manager at this particular moment of time. The only thing I think about is hopefully they are all available, the players, and then prepare them, because I saw during the week again, I noticed last week how hard it was to win a game of football against a team that was, actually I think they were relegated, not officially, but close to that because of the goal difference. And still it was hard to get the win over the line. So I'm not getting carried away at all. I know we've faced Tottenham already 3 times, so I know how hard it is to beat them for us. And that's where my main focus is on.
And you talked about surprises in the game that you watched on Wednesday night. You said this is 4th time now this season. Can there be any more surprises? Are there things that you can take from the 3 games that you played against Spurs so far this season?
You can always be surprised by a game plan of a manager, but in the end of the season, every team played so many games, and it would be a bit weird to change your complete playing style in the end of a season. But during the season, this can happen a bit more. I think Tottenham knows the way we play, we know the way they play, but you can always adjust some details. But I think the big picture is clear for Ainge, Postecoglou, and for me as well, what we can expect.
Hey, Arne. Many people are saying this is more of an achievement what you've done because you inherited this squad. I just wondered what you thought of that, and also when you came in, did you really think this was possible in your first season?
Nah, said many times, if you come in, you don't, in the first days you're here, you just, first of all, look around you, how the training ground looks like, and then you start to work with your players. Then you're trying to get your playing style across, which we already knew we wouldn't change that much. But when players come back from holidays, when they've played at the national team, sometimes you need to refresh them a bit. What is expected over here. Then if you walk through this door, if you walk in here or at Anfield, you know the expectations. You know the expectations are that this club has to win trophies. And that doesn't change when I walk through that door. So the good thing is, I said it a few times before, that most managers work here for a long time, so you have a lot of chances to win something. But so you're aware of that, but that's not the first thing you think about when you walk through this door.
And just give us a bit of update on your sort of injury problems, team use. In terms of the two centre-backs, Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven, do you envisage them playing a full 90 at the weekend, or perhaps one of those where you have to manage them like Monday?
Don't really have injury problems. We've only got really one that's kind of, obviously Sonny's the one that's kind of trying to work his way back. And he's improving, which is positive for us, not for Sunday. But apart from obviously the longer term ones, everyone else from the last game is backed up really well. So the rest of the squad's fit and available. And in terms of team selection, we'll see. We've got another sort of 48 hours to decide which way we go.
So Sonny not available for Sunday, but do you envisage him being right for Thursday?
Oh, we'll see. Like I said, he's improving. It was first time he's kind of got out in the grass today, and he said he felt it's definitely better than what it was. So it's kind of a day-by-day proposition.
Obviously, you want to give a professional and competitive performance against Liverpool, but is really the essential priority just getting through unscathed and looking at Thursday?
No, I think you want to do more than that. You want to go there and compete against obviously a very good side and compete well. And it's not about just getting through unscathed. You want to get through, having played well against a top team. And I think, irrespective of sort of what's on the horizon, that's still of sort of primary importance to us.
Hi, Andrew. Good afternoon. First of all, can I hear a reaction? Yesterday we heard that Jamie Vardy announced that he'll be leaving Leicester City at the end of the season. What a story, from non-league to a Premier League legend. What's your reaction about this? Also the way he inspired so many people with his background.
Yeah, great story. And, I haven't seen sort of the story around it, but I assume he still wants to play because I think he still can play. But yeah, look, incredible story, and there's always the ones that always stand out are the ones that are unique, and he's certainly got a unique journey that it's inspiring for everyone. There'd be, when you see where he started and reaching the pinnacle of the game, including winning a championship. Incredible, great servant. Not too many who end up doing it at the majority at the one club, which is also a testament to him. And great career. And his longevity shows that he obviously knew what was important for him to always be in the best condition, and made sure he always looked after himself. There's a lot of lessons there for many aspiring young footballers, and he's a great example of the different paths that people can take to get to the top. It's not always elite academies and big contracts when you're young. It's about working your way through, and he certainly did that, and he's earned everything he's got.
Okay, disaster for Spurs, though. I mean, losing 5 of the last 7. They lost at Forest again. We talked in the intro about could they spoil the party. I don't even if they wanted to.
I don't think they're going to show up at the party anyway, so they can't spoil it. It's been a shambles, certainly domestically. In Europe, a little bit better, and they have a shot of winning the Europa League, which would be a miracle considering how bad they've been. I don't know. This game against Forest on Monday night just sums it all well. They can't defend for their lives. They can't hit the target for their lives. It's just terrible in between two. Ange has, I think, just not lost it, but gets everything wrong. The tactics, his communication, the link with the fans, the link with the players. He's not going to be there next season. He knows it already. But it's all about the Europa League for them anyway.
Is the dressing room are they still for him? Is that what you see?
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for the dressing room from what I see. But what I see from the fans, I think it's become quite toxic. When a manager can't even go over to the fans at the end of a game, we know what fans can be like. They pay their money to come. You can tell when people are not in the best frame of mind. He's going over there, he's putting his hand to his ear. In the game, we know he did that. Pretty obvious. Yeah. So it's difficult because I think Ange Postecoglou, when he first got in there, the fans were speaking so highly of him. They were playing this free-flowing football. Earlier on in the season, people were talking about all these injuries Tottenham had. It was obviously Vicario, Van der Ven, number of injuries, but they still had Son, Kulusevski. Archie Gray had a really good start to the season, but I don't think he's maximising the players individually. I don't think he's getting out of the players the best out of them. That's what I think the best managers can do. I think Ange Postecoglou at times looks like, the world's on his shoulders. And maybe it is. Managing Tottenham is completely different to managing Celtic. And that's no disrespect to Celtic, massive club, massive football club. But I think you can see the pressure is on. And I think one thing Pep Guardiola does, amongst many things, it's amazing. When City lose, he takes responsibility. And he says, you know, it's on me, even when it's not. At times this season, I think Ange Postecoglou has spoken about players like Timo Werner. Do I think Timo Werner's a great player? No, but you can't be saying certain things about players in your press conferences. So, I don't know. I think at this moment in time, even if they go on to win the Europa League, I agree with what Julian said. Like, I can't see Ange Postecoglou being there next year, nor do I think he probably wants to be there. Like, you know, you want to manage in a good scenario, and I think it just hasn't. It just hasn't worked out, has it?
Yeah, you used a great word, toxic, and that kind of feels like what it's become, the relationship between him and the fans. Just very quickly, they're already talking about who's going to replace him. Do you think it's a done deal?
Yeah. I think they're looking for the right replacement. Postecoglou is a short-term manager anyway. You don't build with him. It's like Marcelo Bielsa. The football is too chaotic, too unbalanced, too all over the place. And at times it's fun. And it started well, but you can't build. So they're going to move on from him. It's a shame in a way. But they will get somebody more structured with a better philosophy, I think, suited to the Premier League. Because Ange ball is not for the Premier League, it's for Scotland, Japan, Australia. Nothing against them, really. South Africa, if you want, even. Even probably in France, but not for the Premier League. It's too good of a league for them.
Yeah, as long as you said even.
Is it Bournemouth at the weekend on the Saturday evening?
I don't look that far.
I think,
now,
and then Liverpool have got. Sorry, their weekend game at the weekend is their Palace game, isn't it? So then
Liverpool got Tottenham.
So Liverpool have got Tottenham. Then I think it's Bournemouth played before Liverpool play against Chelsea the following weekend, and then Liverpool play us. So that's what I was trying to get to.
Yes,
that was the end point. In the meantime,
Tottenham could be the ones that help us in this situation. So it's not over.
Yeah, and Tottenham fans would love to do that. That would nothing would make them happy. Look, Tottenham fans themselves need to be able to get a bit of momentum going. So that game is absolutely not a given at Anfield on Sunday. And then, of course, it would extend through to the game against Chelsea the following weekend. But to get back to the league leaders and their performance, in some ways it was quite typical of a Liverpool season, and there were lots of chances there, but it still felt as though it was a game in the balance against a side that played well, but Liverpool should, given their league positions, have been able to beat relatively comfortably.
Well, it's a strange one because I've watched Leicester, especially over the last few months, and it was almost like a team when I was watching that had given up already, and then they come out against the team that's going to be hopefully crowned champions, and they put on a performance that made it really, really difficult for Liverpool. Even though they had their chance, they didn't take them. But the thing that Liverpool have always had this year is they haven't had to play at their best to win games. They've always been good at just winning the games, and those big players at crucial points have come up and just scored the goals. And Trent did it for them yesterday, and that is why they, for me, will be the champions.
Yeah, the phrase of the season has been, you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun the other guy. That's all you need to do.
I think it's a bit unfair on Liverpool in the way they've done it, because from the start of the season, Liverpool, because of Liverpool's so-called easy start, but you still have to win those games, you still have to win games, and nobody is expecting anybody to win, blast teams off the pitch. To win the games. And Liverpool have done it this season, whether City have fallen off or Arsenal couldn't quite catch them, whatever it is, Liverpool have been better than the rest, and they've got the results, what they needed to do in the situation. They've used the bench well, been very fortunate with injuries, but Liverpool have been by far, for me, the best team in the league.
Do you think they've been fortunate with injuries, or they've managed their squad better and they've managed their fitness better?
I think they've managed the squad better with the lack of injuries, because I remember, the season before, we had no injuries, but we couldn't get it over the line. We were fortunate, because when you're going to see a team that's just going for it like that, who don't get injuries to their main guys, and Liverpool didn't get that this season, really, where we got that.
That's one of the things they looked at with Arne Slot, isn't it? Was his record with keeping players fit throughout the season.
That's another thing that has to be looked at then. There's the sports science side of what we're doing at Arsenal, because we've had them hamstring injuries, serious ones as well, like grade 3s and grade 4, people having to have surgery on them. So that is probably something that they're going to have to look at as well, Arsenal, because it's the margins, isn't it?
I think we're so used to, over the last few seasons, having Man City just blow everyone out of the water. I think it's changed the dynamic of what it means to become a Premier League winner over the last few years, because they have just set such a high standard that then if you're not doing that week in, week out, it really feels like, are you the right sort of champions-elect to be taking forward after they've dominated?
The totals for finishing second have been a point behind Manchester City at times, and so the level for finishing second has been ridiculous as well. well. Just to go back to Arne Slot, one of the things that he was very keen to say in his post-match interviews and in his press conference was, we shouldn't be talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold's future. We should be talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold's goal. Now, I don't think you can really separate the two. And Arne Slot's not producing today. Esther Cox is producing today. So this is what we're going to be talking about. Because I think they're linked, aren't they? The importance of the goal, the fact that Van Dijk and Salah, who've signed contract extensions, have a go and have an opportunity to score. And then I think McAllister has a shot as well. And then it's Trent Alexander-Arnold who scores it, has the reaction that he does, where he knows that a yellow card's coming for taking his shirt off. So he doesn't just take it off, he's throwing it up in the air. He's over at the Liverpool fans at the corner flag. Somebody puts his shirt over the corner flag, and it's intense. That is an intense reaction. So obviously, we're all reading a lot into it. What does our amateur psychology say about that reaction?
Emotion. A lot of it, to be honest with you, a lot of it I would see more in a positive way, because the way he maybe wants to finish his Liverpool career, if he is going to walk out the door, but also everything he's been dealing with from some of the fans that he's been getting abused from. So it's all just kind of just built up. And when that goal went in, you even saw with the slide, it's almost like he didn't knee slide properly. It was like one knee kind of went and the other one was up. He just wanted to let out so much frustration, I see. So.
Yeah, he comes back after nearly 6 weeks out with injury, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He plays in that game. He comes off the bench. Within 5 minutes, he scores the winning goal to put them within 3 points of the league title. And then, as Sean said, it's been a lot of horrible criticism of him in terms of potentially getting a move away to Real Madrid. And so that is being seen, that celebration, as either marking a really successful end to his time at Liverpool, a sort of riposte to the fans who've criticised him, and also the fact this is a kid who grew up as a Liverpool fan, and just the emotion of getting that boyhood team so close to the line.
You know what, Kels?
People have more than one emotion.
Yes, they do. But the thing when you look at it is what's quite sad about the so-called criticism and everything that's happened to him is it is sad simply because, you know, it is his boyhood club and he does love the club. Nothing changes like that. I know there's a lot of Liverpool fans are maybe disappointed that they're not getting a fee, which you could totally understand, but I still look at his side of it, and I speak to players who I do punditry with, and everybody says if I had the opportunity to do it, then you'd do it. And, you know, I feel in that respect, of course he's got the right to do that, and Liverpool fans should be disappointed about it, but the amount of criticism and everything was come his way, you could see it in that reaction. I've never seen him react. I've never seen him celebrate like that. And he scored some crackers, but I think that it is, like Sean said, it's a lot of emotion that's built up because we still don't even know if he's going yet.
Well, I think this is now an interesting situation. It will either feel like, you know, mission accomplished, and I can draw a line under that and walk away with my head held high and go to Real Madrid. Or if you look at, and I'm not minimising the size of the club and the name of the club and how much of a pull that can be, but if you look at where the two football clubs are at the moment, and you look at what Liverpool are building to, you look at Real Madrid, who probably aren't going to win the title in Spain, and they've been poor all season in the Champions League, which is their bread and butter normally. And they're about to change their manager. There has been a lot of criticism of how they've been run at board level, and they're not putting the right things in place in terms of their player acquisition. Whether or not a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold is, one, the right person for them? Does a team who's defensively frail need to bring in an attacking fullback? Or is Real Madrid, is this the right time to go to Real Madrid? I mean, there is the argument it's always the right time to go to Real Madrid, but I just wonder if those little doubts start to creep in.
I think... No.
If Real Madrid are coming in, you're going...
I think it's a good time. I think he's of the right age.
Because he's had difficulties this season as well.
And we're talking about, like you're talking about Kylian Mbappe, I think he's got 33, 34 goals this season. You've got to understand that when you're going, that the pressure, like you say, Flo, it's another pressure. It's a worldly pressure that you don't feel. It's like, I don't want to drop names in, but I have to. Like, I was speaking to Thierry the other day, talking about when he went to Barcelona, and when he went in the dressing room, the level of the pressure that comes from the fans when you win 6-1 and then they're asking you questions, you didn't do anything, why haven't you done nothing? You haven't done anything since you've been here. That's the pressure that Trent now, if he's going into that kind of cauldron of the stature of the club, that you have to deal with, because you can play well and still not get any recognition for it, and there'll be people here saying, "Oh, Trent's not playing," or "Oh, it's a bad move for him." But I think that's the level of the club you're going to, and that is why it's such a special club. If you can make it happen there, and that's the kind of ambitious player we're dealing with in Trent. He wants to see if he can deal with that, and we'll see if he goes.
We will see if he goes, and we'll presumably get an announcement on that at some point, whether he goes or whether he stays. What we do know, and what was announced on Thursday, is that Virgil van Dijk has signed a contract extension at Liverpool for another 2 years. How important is that to not just, you know, what they do for the coming weeks, but in terms of attracting other players, in terms of signalling an intent from the club, in terms of saying, if you do well, we'll break our kind of model in order to sign an extension on top of the Salah one.
Magnificent news for Liverpool Football Club, for the fans, for Virgil himself, because I know how much he loves the place. And, you know, you add into that Mo Salah signing as well, like you say, Kels. We don't know what I was going to say, Jurgen Klopp. We don't know what Arne Slot's team is yet, because he's come in and he's taken Jurgen Klopp's team and they've won the league. So we don't even know what changes are coming. So it's very exciting to have them two signed up, ready to go with the players that you're going to bring. It must be amazing now to be a Liverpool fan, a prospect who might be coming to Liverpool, because it's a very exciting place with a manager that's probably, for me, should get manager of the year for what he's doing if they get it over the line, Kels. But at the same time, magnificent news for Liverpool. Brilliant at this stage. They're going to win the league, keep their two great players. And it's brilliant news for them.
And even in terms of the news cycle, they've drip-fed it in. So the Salah one was before the game last weekend. The Van Dijk one was before the game this weekend. It just seems to have been managed to keep everything bubbling away.
They might announce Trent signing before the next game, but they can win.
I think that's the only frustration, is that both announcements for Van Dijk and Salah, the two what everyone expected to happen as well, especially the Salah one, I think the reaction to that was incredible, because it did feel like it's kind of stopped everyone in their tracks. Like the internet just froze, and that's all they were talking about. Whereas the Van Dijk one had been so expected that I think that took people maybe by less surprise.
I'm not sure that's true of Liverpool fans.
Really? Do you think they're more surprised by that?
I think there is definitely a section of Liverpool fans who, not surprised, but there was a
still
kind of
doubt.
Yeah, and I think it was on top of the Salah one. I think that's maybe why. That's what
I almost feel like I wish there was more clarity just now for Trent Alexander-Arnold, so that it doesn't almost drag it on and leave a cloud over the end of the season, which now should be almost this kind of canter to the finish line and, you know, guard of honour for the next how many games, potentially. But then this just still hangs over this question mark. And I know it's tough if you... a lot of players don't want to announce it before the season officially ends, because they then don't want it to stagger into whatever the fan base is doing towards the end of the season. But I just still feel like it would be nice for everyone to have that clarity, to have that proper full stop on his time there. And then also it can be a bit of a goodbye for him as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way the fans are with Trent at the minute, hopefully it's changed after the weekend. I don't feel like there is going to be that.
But then so much of it is online, though. So much of it is online and not in the stadium as well. And I think it's hard when you feel like you're in that loud bubble.
I think he deserves nothing but respect. I think he's done unbelievably there. He's won everything there, and I just feel like for him it's just a change.
I think you know what? I think he'll get a lot of respect. It's not the respect. I think it's they genuinely feel like Liverpool fans. I feel they wanted something for him. If that's the case, that's what the gripe is with the Liverpool fans.
Is it down to him though?
It's not down to him. No. We could go back to FSG and say, well, how can you let these players get there? But obviously they were confident in Mo Salah and Van Dijk, but not so much with Trent, because at the end of the day, Trent may be more ambitious in respects of the Real Madrid at this stage of his career. But I do still believe that the club has to take something, Kels, in respects of letting it get to that stage where you actually now are tempted by Real Madrid. You're tempted, you think. Because at the moment, we don't know.
Who wouldn't? Name me one player in the Premier League who wouldn't go to Real Madrid if they came in.
I know, but this
is the one.
It is, yeah.
It's the place. It's the place where the players want to go, and you can't knock him for that. But at the same time, you just want to hope that it can all work out nicely. And we still don't know if
they want Saka, you know.
They don't want Saka.
don't tell him. Don't tell him.
That, by the way, that was just to wind back to you. Start a rumour or anything like that.